Like a dancing dragon, a dancing dragon, a dancing dragon. Today we have very talented filmmaker Dan Chen. He was a senior director at Jubilee Media on YouTube for 3 years, 9 months, as I've read on his LinkedIn recently. Also, just connected to him. I added him. I sent him a request. He hasn't accepted it yet.
Yeah. Shit done.
But we have Dan Chen today, and we're going to talk about his movie Accepted, which recently came out and was released in Tribeca. Well, it wasn't released in Tribeca, but it was showed in Tribeca 2021. It's a very sad documentary about how underserved communities have to work extra hard. I feel like, is that a good description?
Yeah, I would say definitely.
Underserved communities. I might have to re-record this. Underserved communities. That's it.
Nice.
It's like sometimes I talk and I'm like, I need to talk and say this.
You're like, I have no idea what I'm saying right now. I totally feel that.
He's walking up. There's the shit.
I'm gonna stay here because I don't want to get up. It's a lot of work. Are you out like searching and like kind of writing like for like new prospects of ideas like for Jubilee, or like do they come to you, they're like, hey, we're gonna do this and we just want you to direct it?
I think earlier this year, like I'd gone freelance, and then they were like, hey, like, would you want to direct some episodes for us of something new?
Was there ever, like, is the writer's room ever like, whoa, that idea, we can't do that. It's like pedophiles. There's one pedophile here. Locate them.
I don't think anything's off the table. Yeah, like I'm sure things are being discussed that may not see the light of day, but like, you know, we talk about it.
Can I sit in one? Just like, wow.
I mean, hopefully you come to the office, you know? Yeah, I know, you know, you just applied, right?
Yep. All right. Julie,
for a position.
Yeah, please. I'm losing money doing this show.
Twins, that's Mary Kate. That's Mary Kate. That's Mary Kate. Look at these twins. That's Mary Kate. That's Mary Kate. That's Mary Kate. Look at these twins. That's Mary Kate. That's Mary Kate. That's Mary Kate. Look at these twins. That's Mary Kate. That's Mary Kate. That's Mary Kate. Titties out. Titties out.
Did you ever get COVID? Well,
I got it in July.
How was
like
it?
this past July?
This past July.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's crazy. Was it bad?
It was bad.
Were you vaccinated?
I was vaccinated.
Okay.
I was boosted in December.
And it still hit you
got
like that?
Horrible sore throat. Like worst sore throat I ever had.
I'll show you a sore one.
What's that?
I've had sore.
I don't know. It's pretty bad.
How long were you locked up for? Did you do the 2 week?
You were in jail?
Quarantine?
Me and my fiance at the time, now my wife.
Hey,
Hey, you know, got the ring. What's up?
Danielle Chen.
We were probably locked up for like a week, and then like after that, we would start doing stuff again, like not outside and stuff. But yeah.
Oh, okay.
was
Dang.
bad.
Wait, so both of you guys had like really bad symptoms?
Yeah, she had it. She had like a tickle, like the day before I got a tickle in my throat, and then she was like, "Oh no!" Like I think I got it. I was like, "All right, here we go." As soon as I started like feeling the first chill, I was like, strap in, you know, like
Dang.
here we go. It's video game time.
Yeah, literally.
At least you had some. I feel like every time, like I got COVID twice,
Mm.
and then I was just locked up watching videos on YouTube for like a week, and I was like, I had no idea what I watched. Like, nothing. It was like literally, I'm like, I don't know where I am.
Remember
I don't remember because I'm
it.
like, I just watched every single thing in my algorithm, and I'm like, I'm having a good time, but I can't say,
stuff,
yeah.
right? Yeah.
It's like all Tom Segura clips, and then just random Jubilee videos.
Yeah. Nice.
I don't know. What have you been directing for Jubilee recently?
The show I've been doing recently is this show called Mask Off. Basically, the premise was like, so I've been doing stuff with Jubilee since like 2018. So back when I started, like this show Middle Ground, where it's like we bring two people from different sides. That was kind of like a novelty back when I joined. And people would come onto the show and they wouldn't know what it was. And they'd be like, oh shit, I'm talking to people I disagree with. Like, let me just like hear them out and stuff. Then I felt like the longer we were doing stuff, and like now Jubilee is a super popular channel with like 8 million followers and stuff.
Yeah.
I feel like people come on to like kind of be political and like I'm gonna say my thing. Like this now's my chance.
It's
and
like
so
they're like performing at that point, like
exactly, or like you know, like they're performing, they're representing their like cause or whatever. And so I kind of wanted to make a show where it's like everyone's like filmed in silhouette, so we don't know who you are. You can't get doxxed. You can't get like found by people. You can talk about private things, and also like you're not here for the clout because we literally don't know who you are. And so it was kind of like just trying to get back to the basics of like, what do you really think about this or that, you know?
How often do you like direct those? And then before like the mask off,
Yeah.
do you ever like direct one? You're like, this person's playing a character right now. Like,
Yeah.
he's not
yeah.
really gay. Like, was it ever?
Not that, but no. There were a few moments like I was directing like a sensitive episode of like, you know, people who talked about people who died in their lives, and it sounds kind of bad to say now, and I don't know what was really going on in this person's head, but like I feel like they were like laying it on like, yeah, it was crazy, like when I got the call from her, and I was like, in my head, I'm like, you don't need to act. Like, you know, it's already like, you know, sad.
It's heavy, yeah.
You know, like you can just say it, but I felt like he was like, now's my chance, you know, now's my chance to really say something for the camera. And I was like,
cut back to one.
I was like, this guy, and like, obviously I looked him up later. It's like, you know, he's an actor. It's like, okay, I see what you were doing, but also like, you know, we're just trying to get normal people. Like, that's what I always like more. I'm like, you're a normal person. If you cry, like, cry naturally, like it just happened in the moment, you know. I'm not looking for you to like put on a performance for me, you know. So
do you ever like have to do one and like he had to pull someone aside, you're like, yo, chill, like you're overdoing it right now? Was that ever?
I've never done
Stop
that.
screaming at the liberal right now.
Because I also feel like, look, if you want to put on a performance, that's your prerogative. I kind of just want to see where you go with it. I think one of the most famous videos where like that happened and then we used it was this one of the, like the 10 verse 1 blind dating episodes I did. I thought I fucked up because she dates 10 guys behind a curtain and then she like eliminates one at a time until it's like down to 2 guys. She picks the one she likes. They see each other for the first time. She's like, I really think you're cool. Like, I hope this turns into something. And he goes, oh yeah, well, I got a girl. And then he turns and faces all of us. And then I'm like, what? And everyone kind of laughs nervously. And he's like, no, I have a girlfriend. And then she's like, wait, what? And then I'm like, what? What are you talking about? Anyways, like we like, at first I was like, oh fuck, I fucked this episode up. Like, this is horrible. This guy was pretending. I don't know why. But then, you know, we just leaned into it. Like, I was just like, let's just release the episode as it is. Let's own up to our own casting, whatever, overlooking of this guy. And then it was kind of like this commentary on like, look, like in dating or in like shows, I guess, like people just like fuck you over.
Yeah,
like,
that's real.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, let's say you're dating someone, you think it's something real and they're not there for you. It's like, hey, that's a real thing that happens too. So
that's awesome.
just trying to like let the lie become a truth. You know what I mean? Yeah,
that's amazing. Are you out like searching and like kind of writing like for like new prospects of ideas like for Jubilee, or like do they come to you, they're like, hey, we're gonna do this and we just want you to direct it?
I think earlier this year, like I'd gone freelance, and then they were like, hey, like, would you want to direct some episodes for us of something new? Yeah. And then I was like, yeah, sure, let's brainstorm some stuff. That's and then like this new mask off idea was from those brainstorming sessions. Yeah.
Was there ever like, is the writer's room ever like, well, that idea, we can't do that. It's like pedophiles. There's one pedophile here. Locate them.
I don't think anything's off the table. Yeah, like I'm sure things are being discussed that may not see the light of day, but like, you know, we talk about it.
Can I sit in one? Just like, wow.
I mean, hopefully you come to the office. You know, you know, you just applied, right?
Yep. All right. Jubilee,
for a position.
Please. I'm losing money doing this show. But yeah, that's. Because that'd be such a funny idea. It's like, there's one secret pedophile here and 9 children.
Just like a nature
one
for you
secret
episode.
pedophile and 9 children. Obviously, it's the grown person.
And they're all blindfolded.
No, I was thinking like if it's like a one secret pedophile thing, it's like 9 people pretending to be pedophiles, like they're trying to act like a pedophile. Like, what's that
would be insane. That's a great one.
That'd be crazy. Hey, Jubilee, me.
Okay, well, the other thing is like they also need to pay attention to YouTube demonetization. So like sometimes you also want to do something, and it's like, well, like we're like YouTube's gonna can us if we do too many of these, and they're gonna put us on a list. So
Jubilee Patreon.
Yes, you guys behind closed doors. I know, I don't know, but that's actually a good idea to like get the real stuff, right?
Oh yeah, that'd be pretty cool. That's pretty good. Because I think
idea.
Channel 5 News does that, where it's kind of like they'll do like, I think they did a full interview with
Alex Jones.
Yeah, Alex Jones.
I want to see that.
I want to see it. But
I'm waiting for them to release it to the public. Like, once they get the Patreon people to watch it, I'm like, but then you gotta release it. To them.
Yeah,
Like,
like, come on.
They're doing something with Tim and Eric as well, I think.
Oh snap!
Yeah, it's
they're
on
doing an A24 movie, right?
Yeah, something
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that. It's on like
Sick.
the riots or something like that.
Yeah, the Jan 6.
Yeah, Jan 6,
riots.
yeah.
Whoa.
God, I love that channel, Channel 5.
Yeah, it's really good because it does show like the absurdities on both sides.
Yeah.
I feel like
Yeah.
I remember there was one. I think it was like the Black Lives Matter. It was like this other Black Lives Matter type of group, and then they were saying like, yeah, we need to raise money for Black people. And this they had that one black guy go in
Sit
the
down,
street. He's
yeah.
like, yeah, he's like, hey, I'm black. Can I get $10?
Yeah.
Okay. Made like $50, I think.
Yeah. All sides, both sides.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. It's just, this is America, right?
Yeah.
Like, this is the absurdity of the moment we live in.
It's
Yeah.
so cool. And I also wonder how, like, same with Jubilee, how you guys get, like, regular people to go on the show. But, like, now that it's big, it's kind of hard to find regular people. I feel like it's the same with Channel 5 News because once they see Andrew Callahan, they're like, oh, boy, I got to get some clout right now.
Yeah, but then he'll probably like lean into that too, you know, like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, this person's being ridiculous. Then like, what's the cause of the ridiculousness? Let's peel back the layers of the. So there's always a way to like get to the truth eventually.
Yeah.
I feel, you know.
That's true.
Yeah.
Did you ever have to, like, kick someone off a Jubilee set? Like, hey, we said she's going to judge you on your body, but not that part of the body. Like, was it ever, like...
I've never had that. We did have like this one moment that was like really uncomfortable where it was like, I think it was like couple months after we did like a versus one shoot where it's like, you know, like 30 people, 40 people come in at a time. Then it was like, oh my God, like one of the people that came in, he's like a sex offender or something. We were like, oh fuck. And like
One secret sex offender.
yeah, I was like, oh shit, like that's we gotta screen these people. You know what I
Oh
mean?
my
Like
gosh.
stuff like that.
How'd
Yeah,
you
yeah.
guys find out? Like, last minute? Would you guys search up, like, public records? Or-
Yeah, and again, nothing I say is like legally binding because this is all hearsay, and I'm already translating through like years and years of memory. But like, yeah, it was like, I don't know. I think someone was just like scanning the news and was like, "Oh shit, this guy was on one of our casting lists," you know. So
You guys don't do like background checks on any of them? It's just kind of like just apply and come in. Like,
apply,
that's fine,
check
yeah.
out their Instagram,
Okay.
see if they're not a crazy looking
Okay.
person, you know. I don't. Again, like I'm not plugged into like
Yeah.
the full-time department now, so like
Yeah.
maybe there are practices.
Okay.
Who knows? When I started, like we were kind of just like finding whatever
Yeah.
works, you know.
That's
We were pretty scrappy back then.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
That's crazy.
how many subscribers did they have when you started?
like 300,000,
Oh, okay. Dang. And then now it's at
Now it's like-
4 or 5?
7 something million.
Dang.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And
Yeah.
how did you start there?
I freelance directed a short documentary.
Uh,
This one guy I met, this friend of mine, Ian, we just gotten coffee like once a year since 2014. And then he was looking for directors because they got commissioned to do a short doc about Asian American issues. And so they hired me to do a short doc. And then it was like end of 2017. I'd done that. I was out of money. I was freelancing. And I was like, fuck, I need a full-time job. I want to direct more. And I saw that they were hiring full-time. And I was like, I really like that crew. Like, I've never full-time directed, salary, anything like that. So like, let me apply and like hang out with these people and have a good time and figure out, you know, new shit while I direct.
that's so
That's
sick,
cool.
Yeah.
It seems fun because it's also all Asian, right? Like,
It's
is
not
it
all
really?
Asian, but it's pretty heavily Asian. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Me and Coach.
Asian founded, you know.
Oh, okay.
So like, I think it like that permeates the culture a little bit, you know, which I think
That's
is
sick.
cool. Like I haven't worked at many places that are like mostly Asian. So I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. Like,
Whoa.
yeah.
Right now, I'm like, because like, no, every time, I think whenever though there's like an Asian filmmaker, you're like, hey, Spider-Man, see Spider-Man memes, like come over here, like,
Yeah,
like
some-
we'll hang out. It's usually that or like minority, because like at Emerson, it was like,
Mm.
obviously it was like 80% white, and like now my whole house, it's like all minorities, and Josh Carone, he's our token white.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's cool because I don't know, I feel like we like gravitate toward each other. Was it like that at US? Because you went to USC, right?
I went to USC. Yeah.
Oh, okay, was it pretty mixed over there?
It was fairly diverse. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
In terms of like what 2007 is when I was a freshman. So like, yeah, definitely more diverse than like small town Kansas where I grew up.
Oh,
But I don't think, yeah, I think it just kind of naturally happens. Like I don't remember being like, I want to make more of X kind of friend. It was just kind of like, oh, I definitely became more diverse in my hangouts.
Yeah, I
once
feel like it just
moved
happens.
to California. Yeah,
Yeah.
I had
for
like
sure.
a bingo chart when I went to Emerson. It was like
And you were like, I
Just
gotta make
collecting.
sure I get all 5 in this
half
row.
Indian transgender. Check.
Wait, how old are you? When did you go to college?
I just graduated in May. I'm 22.
Okay, so
yeah.
like we're kind of 2 different generations, kind
Yeah,
of.
tell
Are
me.
you?
Where did you graduate?
32?
I'm 33.
Whoa.
I graduated in 2011.
Okay. Yeah,
I feel like
wasn't
I'm
in
like
high
a millennial, and you guys are like Gen Z.
Yeah,
right.
I wasn't even in high school yet in 2011. Yeah.
I was 11.
I think I
Literally
just started high school.
Yeah.
I graduated in 2015 from high school.
Okay.
We're
Okay.
babies.
2015. So that's like
16.
that's 8 years after I graduated high
Dang,
school.
yeah.
It's insane.
Whoa. How you feel? You feel old? You're
I
a
do
married
feel
man.
old. Yeah. Like I was a sophomore when Obama got elected,
Whoa.
and we were all like, "World's changing forever. Like, we did it. We're done." Like,
Got this
yeah.
half black man, guys.
Exactly. That's how we felt
Yeah.
at that time, or
Yeah.
at least that's how it seemed like. That's how the campus was reacting. I don't know. I remember walking home that night though. I was walking home with my roommate, and then I think I was still in like kind of like a sad mood. And he's like, "Why are you in a sad mood?" And I was like, "I don't know, man. I don't think anything really changed. I don't know. I think I was even cynical back then. I
Yeah.
was like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm suspicious. Like something about us celebrating. I'm like, I don't think it's this easy, you know. But I
Yeah.
think in the air, it was kind of like it's possible.
It was hopeful.
Maybe we won, you
Yeah.
know.
1-0 right now for minority presidents.
You said 1-0?
One in well, I don't know.
No,
What
you-
president? 1 in 59.
Yeah.
You're 1 in like 46 right now. Right?
Oh,
Yes, exactly.
hey,
exactly.
scoreboard. We're getting up there, dude.
Oh man.
But-
Yeah.
You know what that reminds me of? Like that's
That's
Mary
Mary
Kate.
Kate.
That's Mary Kate. That's Mary Kate. That's we didn't even
You've been
start.
recording this
Yeah,
whole
we've been
time.
recording.
Okay. Okay. No.
Yeah, I was like, oh yeah, we have an
Real quick.
intro. I was like, oh, we went straight in.
That was the intro.
That was
okay.
yeah.
Great.
I guess
perfect.
that was a 20-minute cold open. We fucking did it, dude. But dude, we watched your movie.
Yeah.
Accepted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, sweet.
So sad.
Insane, dude.
I got so bummed out, dude. Like there was the one scene where the girl is FaceTiming her friend,
Like, at the
and then she's
end,
like,
yeah.
gonna open my submission, and then she like gets denied, and she like dances it off, and I'm like, she's like
She's going-
deflecting her
she's going
emotions.
through
I'm
it,
like,
yeah.
that is so sad, dude.
Yeah.
Like, how often were you just recording? Like, were you the cam up for that one where she like just when times of sadness? Were you ever just like, this is uncomfortable, and she's crying in front of me? I gotta. Do I tell her like, hey, you'll feel better, or are you kind of just like, I'll keep recording until she's done reacting to this, and I'll make her feel better, or like, how did you navigate around that?
It was always uncomfortable, you know. I feel like the nature of documentary for me always feels a little bit uncomfortable, and I try to like offset that by just being as genuine and transparent and like down to earth as I can be. Just like person to person, especially when we're not filming. It's like, hey, like just so you know, this is who I am, this is who we are, the crew. This is why we're here, this is what we're hoping to do. And then, you know, while the camera's rolling, I kind of feel like I want to be truthful to whatever's happening. So if it is sad, like, yeah, like we'll feel bad also in that moment, but I also feel like that's kind of why we're here, and to honor the moment, we just need to be truthful to that. But I feel like everyone on the crew had like a different way of dealing with it. I know there was another producer of mine, Jesse, who I remember he would often like want to like interject more, like say like, hey, like, are you feeling okay? Because that's how he was. He was a more like a open empath, versus I'm kind of like, if this person's going through this, I just want to honor that and just let them have that moment, and then later we can talk about it. And I just think we all had different. I remember when that moment happened to that student. I definitely felt like, yeah, she was maybe deflecting, but I also kind of felt like, oh, this is some like Gen Z humor that I don't quite understand. Like an awareness that you're being recorded, and so that you're.
Yeah.
I felt like. And I'm very curious what Alicia would say, but like, I kind of felt like she was like, I know a camera's recording, and I know that this is like a sad moment, so I'm gonna like do my own humorous weird thing right now. And I just felt like it was very interesting to see that. And like, obviously everyone who went to that school, T.M. Landry, is very media savvy. Like they recorded their own acceptances. The news media came in and out of the school and like was like giving their school a narrative. So I feel like when you're a part of like that generation, you're always aware of like what being recorded means.
Yeah.
You know?
I was also thinking like, because in the intro, it's like all the kids getting accepted and everyone like being happy. I was thinking like if you want instant clout, you could just be like, hey, just got accepted to Harvard. It's like you and your boys just
start
celebrating around a
screaming,
laptop, even though I go to community college.
If your acting
Yeah.
is that good, because when you look at those viral videos, like that is real joy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that kind of joy is very hard to fake.
Yeah.
That's true. I'll go
I
on.
mean, like
I
you
feel-
could
I feel
try.
like- I
You
feel
could
like
I
try.
would try.
I feel
What?
like I could do it.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I feel like
Let's
at the same
try
time
it.
too.
Okay.
Like, all my friends are gonna be like, "What have you been doing to get into Harvard?" Like,
Okay, in a
You've been
couple
ma-
days, I want to see you guys film a video of you or you getting into
I'm
the school
so
of your
down, yeah,
dreams.
I'm so down.
I want to
And then
see
you have
if
to
I'm
go back, and then on the director's cut, you have to put it in there. Like,
I want to see if I'm convinced by it. Yeah, exactly.
Wait, where'd you get in?
My local community college, bro.
Community.
Yeah.
It's like 100% acceptance rate.
we were talking about it's crazy because obviously like the story kind of evolves on its own
Mm.
like throughout the film. So I want to know, so like what was your initial story that you wanted to go tell, and kind of like how did you feel like when the moment came where it had to evolve?
It looked
Yeah.
like Black Whiplash in the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually Whiplash was a movie that
actually
was
a good
on my
point.
mind when
Oh.
we first went there. So yeah, I was working at Jubilee at the time, and the CEO and founder of the company, Jason, he had heard about the school, and this is when like the viral videos were making their rounds. Good Morning America, Ellen, Steve Harvey, and so he just calls the school and says, "Hey, is anyone following you guys? Anyone doing a documentary? We're like a really small but like scrappy, cool media company. We want to tell stories about young people and like, you know, that are inspiring or hopeful or challenging in some way." And so he told me about the school. He's like, "Are you interested in potentially like directing something around the school?" And I was just thinking kind of like, okay, the school is famously under-resourced. Like it's a warehouse in rural Louisiana, and it's sending a lot of its kids to Ivy League schools. I have a feeling like they're working their butts off here. You know, I have a feeling like it's hard to kind of be at the school that has way less resources and you're getting the same results as some schools with way more resources. So kind of my thought already was kind of like, you're a minority. You're probably working 10 times as hard to get this exceptional result. And like, what is the cost of being exceptional? So that was what I was interested in exploring. It just so happened to get more complicated along the way once we started filming with them.
Yeah. Were you?
Okay. Do you kind of like map out like what you expect the ending to look like in your mind, like as a result of like going there, or do you kind of like go in with an open mind and then kind of like come back after filming and then, you know what I mean? Like, or do you kind of have an ending in mind of like where you want the doc to go?
It's pretty open-ended
Okay.
when we started. I think the only structure we had was it'll be a school year. So we'll follow the next class of kids through their senior year. And it's going to end with them going to college, not going to college, going to a different college. And so we kind of knew that's the timeline. But then I think that first trip, it's just like, who are we going to meet? And who are they going to be as characters and as people? And are they going to want us there? And then that's totally open-ended. That's like, we just see who we meet and what happens.
Did you ever like follow a kid home and then like you saw they had like a Samsung TV and their dad had a Rolex? You're like, you're not struggling. Like, boys, pack up. We've seen all we need to. Their story isn't interesting. They're going to make it. Did that ever happen where you're like, you'll be fine?
That didn't happen.
Okay.
But you know, like it's a process of gaining trust. You know, at first we look like every other news crew that comes in. We would ask them like, hey, like say this documentary becomes a thing. Can we like, you know, see what your home life is? Ask your parents, tell them who we are. We want to talk with them, that kind of thing. You know, one of the students, Kathy, I think she's Vietnamese and she's, I think like probably on metrics, like the poorest, you know, student, poorest family in the film. And like her life would contrast, and she would always say like, you know, not every kid who comes here is like poor. Like that's what the media wants to say, because that really simplifies and makes the narrative really inspiring. And like, not to say that if you're well off, like you shouldn't be going to the school, you shouldn't be going for these opportunities. Like she was very passionate about when telling us like, hey, like not everyone's poor. Like the girl who drove me to school on our way to school, like she was fairly well off. You know what I mean? And so I don't know. I think that's like, I'm not gonna bang anyone for being more well off and going for it. It's like,
okay.
you know, but I would say like we just gravitated towards the people we gravitated towards because they were the most open to filming with us. You know?
Oh, okay. That's
Yeah.
pretty cool. How did
Yeah,
you
yeah.
like find out like about their home life? We'd be like, hey kids, line up, tell me your annual income.
No, because again, we're not screening for income. So
Okay.
we literally just, there was like 15 kids in the senior class that year, and we literally just had a half-hour interview with every single kid as if we were taking like class portraits and asked a few questions. Because like, we don't know who you are, and we don't know how you feel about us. And so through the 15, like, we probably gravitated towards like 8 of them, felt like, oh, there's a story that we can help tell with them. And then out of those 8, like, by the time you get through all of editing, looking through all the footage you got, and sometimes people wouldn't be available, and you just be like, okay, well, shit, there's like 5 months where we just never saw this person. So can we tell a story with them? Probably not, you know? Then we end up with the 4 that we have in the end. Yeah.
Was it ever like weird following the kids? Like, I'm gonna go hang out with them at the mall and then overhear their teenage dialogue while I have this A7S3 in hand. Was it ever like you just had to wait there and they're like talking about girl stuff and you're just, I'm still here, by the way.
I hope it wasn't too weird for them.
Okay.
I mean, I was like, if we want to get the experience of what it was like to be at the school, like, it's our job to capture that. Hopefully you guys don't feel too weird about us following you around
like
with these cameras, you know what I mean?
With you, like,
and
how was like to kind of like piggyback off what he was gonna say, like, because there's that scene where they're all like playing with fireworks and everything. Yeah, was that like a weird thing to kind of film? It's kind of, this is a little dangerous. Like,
hey, here's fireworks. Go, 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 go.
Like, I just gotta kind of be here to capture this. Like,
I like that. That was a cool scene.
Yeah,
I like that
was
scene a
super
lot.
cool. Like,
that was, I remember we came back. The school was kind of like, oh, we don't know what to film with you guys, so we kind of just like, we're like, okay, we'll just hang out then. And then we're just like, hitting up all the students being like, what are you up to? And then one of them was like, we're all hanging out at my house playing Super Smash Brothers. So then we came over there. I think at the time that student's guardian was like, we don't want you filming with us. So then at the house, we were just like watching them play Smash Brothers.
Why is this 30-year-old man watching?
With like cameras, but we weren't filming. And then at some point, they were like, you guys want to get fireworks? And I was like, yeah, that sounds like great. You guys should go get fireworks. And then
And they're like, you can't record.
Once they left, I was like, hey, we're just hanging out. I'm just going to start filming now.
That's cool. Okay.
Just trying to be as natural as possible about it. Yeah.
It's 5 hours of Super Smash. And you're just like,
Like, I hope we're spending our time and money wisely. But
let's go to Michael.
I think it's important. I think we just need to spend time with people to, you know.
Yeah, you gotta build some trust.
So build some trust, build some rapport, you know. Yeah.
Do you still talk to a lot of the kids? Or
Yeah, we text a lot.
Okay.
A lot.
That's
And then
really
a
cool.
few of them have been involved in, like, you know, going to the film festivals, and also like we did like an LA theatrical release, and so a couple of them came out for that, and that was really cool.
That's cool.
You still talk to Mike?
No, not as much. Not as much.
Was that like really awkward, like when everything went down?
It was awkward even before it
Okay.
went down publicly.
That's insane.
Because what happened while we were filming was one of who we felt like were the key characters. I think it was his adopted daughter at the time. She was at the school, and then she just left the school. And then we were just kind of wondering, and so we were asking our classmates, like, hey, do you know what happened to her? Like, where is she? And then Mike would come to us, and he'd be like, why the fuck are you asking about her? And we were like,
whoa,
sorry, like we don't mean anything bad about it. We're just curious.
Yeah.
And if school is tough or she's feeling the pressure, like maybe that's also part of the story.
Yeah.
And he was like, don't ask any questions about her. And then I think it just got to this point where he started losing trust in us. And I think I understand that. I don't think we had bad intentions.
Yeah.
I just think we were just genuinely curious. But like, I think he was already feeling like, I don't want these guys around. And that was even before the New York Times article about the school came out. And at that point, he's like, I don't trust anyone. I don't trust you guys. And so
That's so crazy.
just got real crazy after that. Yeah.
Team Landry, it's still open, you said, right? It said in that film. It is?
I think so, as far as I know. But I think the student population's like
2.
it's way less than it used to be. Because I mean, COVID also happened.
Oh, that's true. I don't want to be screamed at by Michael over Zoom.
I don't know if it has the same feeling, but yeah, it's kind of like they're back to where they began, which is like kitchen table, like a few students come over, and he kind of like gives you like a I don't know, like close-handed tutoring or teaching or something. Yeah, before it became this giant enterprise.
Yeah.
Dang, started from the bottom. Now he's still there. He went down and up.
Literally.
That's cold.
Yeah,
What was
it's hard. It's hard.
what was he like when cameras weren't rolling? Like, did he ever do anything like? Because it seemed, in like a brash way, he seemed to be like the perfect human in the way how he like tried to
Portrayed
inspire the
himself, yeah.
kids, and like he'd always like never fuck up. Like when cameras weren't rolling, would there ever be like a stain on his shirt? He'd trip, or like did he ever like laugh at himself, or was he always like in that TED Talk motivational headspace to
That's
make sure
him.
these kids? That's him all the
That's
time.
just him.
Dang.
All the time. And I feel like the students would say the same thing, you know?
Wow.
He's just constantly on, constantly motivated, constantly wanting to pass on that motivation. Yeah.
He reminded me of a lot of the. Did you ever watch Last Chance U?
Yeah, some of the first season.
Yeah, there was a on the second season. There's the basketball coach is like a carbon copy of him, but like a good guy.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a popular like personality for like
Yeah.
sports and like just like someone who motivates you,
Yeah.
you know, for sure.
we were talking about it before. I think it's like it was kind of like a shitty environment, but I think something that kind of, at least it's something like, I guess you could say it's kind of good that comes out of it is like obviously like the way he was able to motivate people and kind of like push them for their work ethic a little bit. Because even if like they're not getting into these schools, even if they have to leave, I feel like even kind of having that experience to like see like kind of how to push yourself, kind of how to like be greater is like, as I feel like that can benefit anybody, like no matter like what situation they're in and shit. So
Yeah, I mean, one of the themes we were trying to explore is like, yeah, to what extent is this good for
Yeah.
people and leads to good things, and to what
Yeah.
extent does it like lead to like mental health
Yeah,
problems, and like
100%.
to what extent is it abuse as far as someone acting upon you or like you acting upon yourself?
Yeah.
And like a lot of the students in the film suffer from like mental health struggles, and it's
Yeah.
like, well, is that the double-edged sword of like being motivated and being
Yeah.
told like keep pushing yourself, keep going, never stop going?
yeah.
And that's something that, you know, I definitely related to even before we started filming, thought a lot about while we were filming,
Yeah.
still think about.
Were your parents
Yeah.
like that? Like, did you have the classic Asian parents where it's like, hey, B plus, I'm gonna beat you? You ever get that?
No,
Really, your
no.
parents were cool?
I don't know if they're cool. But I never felt like frightened. Like, you know, there's no like, Do you
Yeah,
feel
it was a bit.
frightened?
Yeah. Well, we're cool now, but like,
Yeah.
I was like cool with my dad until like 2020 because he's a computer engineer.
Okay.
He's like, you have to do this, and
Okay.
then I was like, I don't wanna. And then like I was just always skateboarding and like doing film and like
Yeah.
making stuff. And then 2020 hit. He started working out, got a bit swole, and he was like, "Hey, I'm cool now. Do what you want." I'm like,
Just through working out.
It was because like growing up, he'd have to go drive like 2 hours, 3 hours to work every day, and then he'd have like 4 hours of sleep like all the time. So then he'd
Insane, dude.
always just be like angry. But then like he finally got to work from home, and then like he still works from home, and he just works out and cooks every day. He's like, "Hey, found out I'm a good cook." I'm like, "Fuck yeah, you are."
I needed an outlet.
Well, yeah, you just need an outlet. So like now I understand why he was like angry, and like he's like, "He's like, I'm fucking working 3 hours down, and you want to be a pro skater? Fuck you! I'm gonna be the best." And then I converted that into like filmmaking and like
Yeah.
comedy. But yeah, we weren't cool until like 2020, and now I'm
That's
like,
insane.
"Hey, bald guy." He's like, "Sup, dude?" How's the show? Like, it's cool. Like, were your parents, or are you first generation?
Does that mean
From
what does that
your
mean?
parents are like from outside
Yeah,
the
my
US?
parents are from China,
Oh, okay.
and then they came here, and I was born here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
whatever
what
that
was-
means.
Because I feel like, because my friend Jenny, her parents are from Vietnam also, but like something I always share with like first generation parents is like they're always like, we work so hard to get here. You're not gonna go into a field that doesn't guarantee money.
Yeah.
So I think that's in their mind. Were your parents like, did they just be like, hey, here's a camera, have fun, or was it kind of like, hey, you have to pursue mechanical engineering?
I mean, I think it was always an expectation that I get good grades.
Yeah.
And then as soon as I started taking an interest in film, like my dad would support that. But
That's
then
cool.
he would say like, then you better be really good at it, or you better take
Yeah.
it really seriously
That's right.
if that's what you want to do.
Yeah.
And so I kind of felt like though, like my whole like I gotta push myself, I gotta try hard. I felt like it came from myself, or it kind of
Yep.
came from like having a chip on my shoulder, feeling like, oh, like people don't think I'm cool. Is it because I'm like Asian or something? I grew up in the Midwest, and then I think I flipped that and was like, well, I'll fucking show them. Like, fuck you, I'm really
Yeah.
good at this. You know what I mean? So then that like motivated me a lot, but then I think it also like gave me a lot of like weird issues also that I'm like, you know, untangling.
Yeah, no, I feel that because sometimes I'm like, I always have that thought in my head. I'm like, I'm a fucking loser, but I'm gonna show everyone. Because I thought this the other day. I don't know if it's true. I feel like people who were like out in high school just fucking, like, so much fuck. They
Yeah.
fuck so much.
Yeah.
I feel they're not doing as well right now. You know what you know what I mean? Because
What
I'm
if
like,
what if they were all fucking and then like now they're doing great?
I'd be like, what the fuck? I'm still a loser. Because I don't know. I'm trying to find that balance of like, oh, I'm fucking great, but still wanting to be hungry.
Yeah.
And like, still having that thought like, what if I'm a loser? What am I doing? And then still having that grind to keep going.
Yeah.
Is that balance? Do you have that too?
Yeah, sometimes I wonder if it's like, you know, like you're burning fossil fuels.
Yeah.
Like what if it's like the whole like I suck, but I got to keep going so I won't suck. That's like burning like like oil. It's like you can burn it. It's very effective, but then at a certain point you're going to choke on your own fumes.
Yeah.
That's
so maybe
true.
like if you switch to solar, which is like, hey, I like myself and I'm also going to work hard. It's like, okay, maybe it doesn't get you there as quickly or as
That's
but
That's
as
true.
fast, but
Yeah.
like it's like a healthier way to burn
Yeah.
energy. I've been thinking about
That's
that
amazing. Yeah,
lately.
it's amazing. So where would you say that you're at right now with that mindset?
I'm like converting to solar.
Okay.
You know what I
Hell
mean? I'm
yeah.
like I'm
Yeah.
like taking down the oil power plants and then
Okay.
building solar
That's
power.
amazing.
You're
Yeah.
telling me it's gonna take 11 years?
part of it was doing this fucking movie.
That's
and
sick.
doing an entire movie about like mental health and trying to be excellent at all costs and like empathizing with people who were going through that when they were young and thinking about, oh, when I was young, I was thinking similar shit. And
Yeah.
maybe it wasn't a Mike Landry yelling at me, but it was a Mike Landry in my own head.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I was my own Mike Landry. Like if you're not amazing, then you fucking suck. So you
Yeah.
better be amazing. And so, yeah, like untangling that, you know?
Yeah.
Crazy.
Wow, we're on the same wave, dude.
Yeah.
I'm feeling that right now. Because I was thinking, what's Michael Landry's internal dialogue? Is he even like, if you think you're having the worst of Michael Landry, imagine what he has in his head. Like, is he? You think
don't
he was
know.
happy with like?
No,
Where
I
he
feel like,
was.
like there's a reason he's like that. You know, he's probably
Yeah.
like he's got to be filling some kind of hole. You know what I mean? Like he's probably has like some inner demons that he's dealing with and shit.
Well, he said his didn't you say like his brother was in prison and they're both like drug dealers or something?
Oh,
Yeah, he said like
yeah.
family
That's it.
struggles. He's had
Yeah.
siblings in prison,
Yeah.
or
And-
I think he mentioned some of them might have died.
Yeah.
Oh,
He
yeah.
mentioned about his
Um,
kids like not
yeah.
graduating college either. So I know like that was
Right.
something he was definitely trying to fulfill. Like,
And I feel like he feels that there's like a huge racial injustice
Mhm.
and inequality, which is true.
Yeah.
And then he is internalizing that and turning it into his own personal
yeah.
mission
Yeah.
to kind of correct that. Which I think that's a huge source of fuel, right?
Yeah.
If you feel like you are fighting a greater injustice,
Yeah.
I would say that he probably feels like that will give him more energy than if it was just about himself,
Yeah.
right?
Were
yeah.
you ever? Because I remember there was that one scene where he was doing like a speech. He was like, "So there's 20 of you black kids here. 2 of you are gonna be dead. 2 of you are gonna be in prison." Like he was doing that like race statistic. Was there ever a kid in like the crowd that was like, "Oh, he hasn't mentioned Indians. I'm gonna be fine." Like, did he ever like not include a race? And that kid would be there and be like, "How? Is there anything on Puerto Ricans? Am I gonna be alive?" Like, was there ever anything like that?
First of all, it's so long ago, I can't remember the specifics. I remember he went through more races than we showed in the film.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, that
He
makes
kind
sense.
of gave everyone like a little tidbit just so you could take that and
That
think
makes
about
sense
it.
now.
I always laugh when I watch that scene because he says like, you know, white guys, you're public enemy number 1 now. Being average and being a white guy is like being last. And then there's like one white kid I remember in the shot and he goes,
Yeah.
like he's really
I
just
saw that, yeah.
earnestly taking it in. He looks like, I don't know, 13 or 14. I'm just like, wow, I hope he's, you know, doing good. I hope
Recording
he's
his
taking it
trauma.
seriously, maybe not too seriously, you know, kind
Yeah.
of just thinking about that. Yeah.
It's insane.
Dang.
There's probably
Yeah.
so many kids that are like mad impressionable too, just hearing all that shit.
That would
Yeah,
It's like
yeah.
altering the course of their lives forever. right?
Yeah, yeah. Or like I remember from Kathy, he would say like, you know, Asians, like, you know, there's too many of you guys in colleges, so like it's gonna be really hard for you to get anywhere good because like they had too much of you
Yeah.
or something, and it's like, oh shit. Yeah. But it's kind of true. Like
Yeah.
he's saying something kind of true, you know,
Yeah.
while he's saying that to you. So yeah.
Because yeah, I
Insane.
think colleges now, it's if you're Asian, there's they have a cap now, right? For how many Asians can come in, right? Isn't
Okay,
that
so
true?
they can't say they have a cap because that's illegal. That's like against the law.
Oh.
But they will say like we grade on like personality and a different mixture of it's like they have like their own secret recipe.
On personality, very Asian.
And then what they would notice is like, hey, how come like all these Asian students are scoring lower like across the board in their personality scores? There's just something about Asians that are causing this, you know what I mean? And it just opens this whole can of worms where they can't say there's a racial quota.
Yeah.
I feel like if you were to ask like an admissions officer, they're probably like, well, there's like a nice cocktail of diversity that we would love to get to, and if there's too many Asians, it upsets the recipe of the diversity cocktail, and so yeah, I feel like that's what's happening right now.
I thought it was crazy that the admissions scandal kind of tied in with that a little bit too. Like, so what year did that happen? That was like what, like
17 or 18.
That was
right?
2019. Did that happen?
Whoa.
So that was during the school
yeah.
year.
So
that we were
literally,
there.
yeah, that's
It was
insane.
like duality of man. It was because it was like
Yeah.
the poorer communities and the more like rich communities.
Yeah, that's
both
crazy,
were
yeah.
trying
They're
to get their way
clashing.
in.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it sucks that the rich community obviously was still getting in, even though like Michael Landry was still like faking the transcripts
Yeah.
and everything. Right?
Yeah.
Do you know if because I know his like success rate for the students was like 100% of kids get into college.
Yeah.
Was there ever a kid where he was like, he's not gonna make it? Let's kick him out right before graduation just to maintain that 100%. We're not gonna be 92.5.
I don't know, because the thing is, like, we only saw a version of the school. We I think when he knew cameras were coming, he would be like, all right, kids, like, we're gonna do like this, we're gonna do like that. And I think part of the reason, again, why I kind of lost patience with us is like we just kept coming back, and we kept coming back, and after like the third or fourth visit, it kind of felt like, oh, you guys are here again, like we the first time I was like, hey, welcome, you can film anything, and by the third time it was like we would land and we'd be like, hey, like, haven't heard from you, how are you doing? And then like we would just drive to the school, and then they'd be like, oh, hey.
I guess you can go over
and
there.
we're like, oh, they're not really excited about having us here. We said we were going to be here all year, but, you know.
Hey, Mikey.
Yeah. So I feel like, again, so like there were a lot of things about the school that we weren't like directly privy to that we would just hear from the students. So a lot of the film is also like them telling us through interviews, like, when you weren't here, it was like this. It was like this.
Yeah. How big was your crew?
At its biggest, like on the ground, it was like 5 or 6 people.
Okay,
yeah, we kept it pretty tight, you know.
Insane.
What did that consist of? And like you were cam mopping, right? And directing? Or?
Directing, cam mopping, sometimes not. It was like me. There was another cinematographer. There was our on the ground all the time producer Jesse. There's a sound person. Maybe a PA sometimes on bigger days, but most of the time we wouldn't have that. So I would say like 4 was the main crew, and then like 6 was like, oh, we got a lot of people here.
Yeah.
Were you guys laving people up, like all the students, or was it just like a boom?
At most, we'd have like 3 labs and then a boom for like big like situations. But then like towards the end, like it would just be like really intimate, just hanging out with like a kid here or a kid there. And then it was just like, sometimes it was just like the on-cam mic, like,
Dang.
yeah. Like pretty low tech, but then we had really good sound mixers in post to help us with that. Yeah.
Were any of the kids like Stockholm syndrome to like Michael Landry's the GOAT, even though he choked me?
Well, yeah, when they literally mentioned it, like the girl brought up, she's like, the police report is literally like it's objective.
Yeah.
Or like you can't say anything about that. And she's like, well, like she said something along the lines, well, it's not really that big of a deal, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And she was like, what are you talking about? Like, what the fuck?
I mean, it's hard. Like that age, you know, he's like the strongest personality in your life. Like,
he's like your dad,
he's very
like,
confident in his point of view, which I feel like anyone who looks at someone that confident in their point of view, like you can't help. And he has your back / had your back. Like, that's hard to like shake. That's hard to like
100%.
resist, you know? And so I know even like the kids we filmed with, like they still have like mixed feelings, you know? It's not all black and white with them. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
You miss him?
We just had so many ups and downs with Mike, and I'm sure he would say the same for us, that I'm like, you know what? Let's just say, you know, we had our experience, and
we're good. Like it's okay. We're past
yeah,
it.
exactly. Yeah.
How did you feel? Because like there's that scene where you go to his house and the kids are calling him, like asking about questions, and then like it's revealed later that he emailed the kids like saying like, hey, call me like for this. how was it kind of finding that out? Or did you already like know that was a thing?
This guy's a phony.
At first, I was like, hey, whoa, that's kind of crazy. That's kind of I don't like that. And then I reflect on it more, and I'm like,
Yeah.
whatever. You don't know us.
Yeah,
We're a
literally,
camera
yeah.
crew.
Literally, like, yeah.
You're like, might as well give these guys some good footage
give them a
and
show.
help promote my school. And I hear from one of the students, like, he would do that. So,
Yeah.
like, he would do that sometimes. So, like, is he faking it if he happens to be like, hey, the cameras are here, do it
Yeah.
tonight? I don't know. I'm like,
Yeah.
I think it speaks to kind of what we were talking about at the very beginning of this conversation, which is like, I think everyone's kind of just savvy to being filmed now and
Yeah.
what it means to be filmed and what do you want to show the camera while you're
Yeah.
on camera. So I don't really fault him for it. I'm like,
Yeah.
I get it. I do think it was important to include in the film because it does
Yeah.
give you like, oh,
Yeah.
whoa, what do I think about what I'm shown and
Yeah.
should I question that? And I think that's good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Dang.
Did you ever have a teacher like Michael?
No.
Oh.
No. Again, it was just me. I
Yeah.
was my own Michael.
Dang. Mini Michael.
Yeah.
I remember I was in percussion class in 7th grade, and
Yeah.
it was pretty much like Whiplash, but with practice pads. It was
In
like
3rd grade?
no, it was in 7th grade.
Oh, okay.
Because this dude, we had electives in junior high school, and it's kind of like we rotate every like quarter. And then I got percussion. He said, "Hey, if you stay, we'll give you a bag of candy." And I was like, "Oh fucking boy, I love candy." So then I stayed for a year, and then it was so mean. Like I remember one time I like asked, I was like, "Hey, can I blow my nose during this practice?" He was like, "Yeah, sure, if you recite the first 8 notes of what we were just practicing." And then I remember like my note was like it was like dripping. I was like, FC. He was like, nope, it was E. I was like, oh. Like it was like 20 kids just staring at me like, yo, this is gross. Dude. And then I remember it was like dipping onto my lip. And then he was like, okay, you can go. And I was like,
Oh my
walked
God.
over there.
That is so
And then I quit
embarrassing.
the next year. His name was Mr. Ballard. He got red whenever he was doing. Mr. Ballard. Yeah.
Dang.
Were
So
you
you
good at
really good at
percussion, though?
drums?
I still remember those notes.
Damn.
I was okay. I think I got rhythm from it. I remember
Okay.
there was good and bad that came out of it. I miss him.
That's Stockholm syndrome.
Yeah.
He's still with you. He's still with you. Yeah.
Sometimes- Yeah, he's like my internal Michael and my external Michael. Like,
He is both.
Yeah, I visit him.
Do you feel that way like because now you like what you do comedy, you also like are thinking about acting or you act, right?
Yeah.
Does that same attitude carry you into those things?
Yeah, so much because like I'll get off stage and I'm like, I did fucking shit. I'm the worst. And then my friends be like, dude, that was pretty good. And I'm like, you're lying. You're all lying. Like it's really bad. I literally had to take a break for like it was only I said I did a show. And then I was like, I'm gonna take a break. I don't feel good about like even if I like felt like I did well or bad, I'd still be like, you fucked up on this, you're trash.
Yeah.
And they would just be instilled in my head and I'm like, everyone hates me right now. It's so bad. But then like I took a week off and I'm like and then I got asked to do a show and I was like, all right, I guess I'm back.
Yeah,
and then,
all right.
yeah, so it's like a endless loop of like you suck, but you're gonna keep proving people wrong, even though the person you're trying to prove wrong is yourself.
Yes.
But it's still like I feel like it's rare where I'm like, hell yeah, you did that shit, which is bad. It's the Michael Landry.
Do you
in
feel
me.
like at least from like a year ago, like feeling like that? Do you feel like you've had any progress with that, like to now?
In terms of like the internal dialogue?
Yeah.
I actually read my journal. I had a journal every now and then, and I read a year ago. I'm like, fuck, I'm still at the same spot. But no, but there are ups and downs
Yeah.
that come to it. But it's still like that, like the fossil fuels of just
Yeah,
like,
you're
it's
still
just
burning
not-
oil.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like I'd rather be just like doing like okay, but still being like, hey, I'm making progress, than like objectively doing better than I have before and like still hating how I feel my progress is, which is I don't know. It's weird. Maybe I'll go to Team Landry. Maybe get that external. I know.
Probably
match
just
the
ruin you
external
after
and
that.
I don't know if they have a comedy section in their school, but
Michael Landry, teach me stand up. But I don't know. But I don't know because I remember I watched Whiplash and I was like, this is a good ending. Just so bad.
you're like, I'm happy for him.
Yeah. He's gonna become a goat, which is so cool. Because I was thinking, do you think Michael Jordan is happy where he is? Because like I feel like
No.
he had that really. Because it's like insatiable hunger.
It's insatiable. Yeah.
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 But I was saying this last week, but I feel like he's already at a point in his life, you know, like he's out of the NBA and shit. So I feel like there has to be at least some type of fulfillment with that. Like, there's no way he just sits and he's like, nah, man, I'm so hungry right now. Like, you know what I mean? Like he's got to at least have found some peace. Like there's no way.
No, that's true. That's
Yeah.
true. It's probably transformed a
Yeah,
little
exactly,
bit,
yeah.
but that same like hunger, I think, is
Yeah.
probably still present.
Yeah, this is like a
It's
drive in
probably
you.
manifested in different
Yeah.
ways now.
It's crazy.
Yeah. But if you watch that documentary, like it just doesn't seem like he was ever satisfied,
Yeah.
right?
It's literally like Kobe too, and it's just like, damn,
Yeah.
dude, like you got a family, bro. Like just go
Yeah.
be happy. Like it's okay. Like, so weird.
I feel who would be doing? I feel like Chappelle. I feel like he's like at the top of his game,
Yeah.
and I feel like he's like chilling because he like
Mm.
literally is just has like a farm in Ohio with his family, and it's like
So sick.
separated from like Hollywood, and he's on
Yeah.
his social media. So I feel like he's cool, but I wonder if he had that feeling when he was younger of like, I'm trash,
Yeah.
but I'm gonna be the GOAT. Or was it always like, I'm having fun all the time, and that's how he became the GOAT?
Huh.
Do you ever see, is there anyone like you've seen kill it, and like who's like the most successful person you know? Or do they have that insatiable hunger, or are they constantly like healthily moving throughout their career?
I think it's impossible to be totally content and still want to do stuff like this.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Because it's like being creative and making stuff with people you like and just putting stuff out there. That's one thing. And then the career success and the magnitude of your success, I feel like that's almost like a completely separate thing in which like you're playing a game of musical chairs and there's only so many chairs of like truly hugely successful, influential people.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're the kind of person that's still going for that kind of goal, you know, like I feel like how technology is, how like you could start a YouTube channel and just put out the stuff you want to do. Like you could have a happy life if all you want to do is just express your creativity. But if you're in it for like some kind of like achievement, you want to like, contribute to the art form, you want to be influential, like you're probably contentment probably doesn't come easy to you. I
Yeah,
feel.
because it like
Yeah.
comes and goes. I feel right.
It's
You're
like- it's
not
like
content, but it's
fleeting.
kind of like, oh
Yeah.
shit, I did this. But then
Yeah.
like a day later, you're like, what am I
Wears
doing?
off immediately. Yeah.
Or it's even like, yeah, I feel like it's some kind of like I've mapped out this territory now that I never thought I'd be able to do. But as soon as I've achieved this, now I'm just excited to see what's next after
Yeah.
this, you know, like doing, I always thought like, oh, like one day I'm going to do a feature length film. And then as soon as I finish it, I'm like, holy shit, that was really hard. I feel like you know, it was really hard to get it finally past the finish line. And now I'm just like, great, I'm hungry. Like now that I know I can do this, I want to do the next thing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I want to like feel that hunger, but also not feel like that self-hate or that
Yeah.
anger that comes with the hunger. Like,
Yeah.
can I just
Yeah.
have the hunger and not the other stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm feeling
that's
that.
what I want.
Because
Yeah.
I feel like I've said it before. Like whenever something negative happens, I just get angrily progressive. You know what I mean? Like I remember, like I was talking to a manager. He's like, "Yeah, like I want to represent you." And next day he's like, "We've decided to move into a different career." And then I remember like I went to Planet Fitness and I fucking was like doing like 30 pull-ups. It's like that fucking be. Oh, I'll show him.
Yeah.
But it's also like, but then when I'm not feeling anything, I'm like, oh, I don't feel like doing pull-ups right now. Kind
Yeah.
of cool,
Yeah.
right? I don't know. It's
Well,
weird.
well, that's just more of a discipline that needs to come with it. Then, because even if you don't feel like it, like you still have to be able to like, force yourself
Yeah.
to like go out and do shit. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I was gonna say something right now. It was something along. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Profound.
Perfect,
Your
man.
reading
I
works.
really liked your insight on that.
I wanted to ask on like, when did you get into doc filmmaking for yourself? Because
Dylan does documentaries too.
I do documentary stuff.
hell yeah.
Yeah, but like our film school, we went to community college together. That's how we met.
It was really good.
It was great.
Shout out College of Canyons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Ron
good.
Mita, our professor, he's great.
Wrote Robots.
He wrote
Great guy.
Robots, with Robin Williams.
Yeah.
But he like there was
Self-plugs
no
for this man.
Yeah, exactly.
He also drives a Jeep.
He loves Star Wars. There was no like doc program though for our school. Like there was journalism. I remember like teachers like once I released my film that was a documentary, there was no other documentaries in the class, so I always felt weird about it. But they were always like, "Oh, you should get into journalism. You would do great in journalism." And I'm just like, I don't know. It's a different vibe. Like I want to express myself like with the story and everything, and like beats, stylized and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was very self-learned. Like I would say I learned maybe like 10% of what I know from school, and then I learned like 80% on my own,
Yeah.
90%, whatever.
Yeah.
So what was your kind of like formalities with it? Because you went to USC, but what about before that? What kind of like made you want to get into it?
And before then, I was making stuff with my friends in Kansas. We didn't have lights. We didn't have like resources. And we read Rebel Without a Crew. You know that Robert Rodriguez book? You know Robert Rodriguez?
Yeah. He directs the Spy Kids, right?
Director of Spy Kids.
Yeah. Whoa.
Director of Desperado.
Shark Boy and Lava Girl?
Yeah.
Shark Boy and Lava Girl.
He's
Sin
in Shark Boy and Lava Girl
City.
too? He's doing a lot of Star Wars stuff right now too. Like,
Oh yeah, he's directing for
Whoa.
like Book of Boba Fett and
yeah,
stuff.
he was doing it on Mandalorian too. Like,
Yeah.
Which is pretty crazy.
Okay,
Dang.
but
Yeah.
see, so I'm a millennial, right? So I'm getting into filmmaking like 2003. And Robert Rodriguez came into his career because he like raised money by doing medical testing, like, you know, experimental drugs. They like monitor you for 30 days. And then like he like spent that time writing a script. And then he used like that few $1,000s that he got and like bought film stock, borrowed his friend's film camera, filmed a low budget action movie in Mexico. And then he went to Sundance with that movie. It's called El Mariachi. And then he wrote a book about
Whoa.
his experience. And the gist of that book was basically like, I don't know what I was doing. I just knew I really wanted to make something. And then like I learned the bare minimum to make something. And that has led to a career. And so I read
Whoa.
that and I just felt really inspired to be like, oh, like I'm out here in the middle of nowhere in Kansas, but having read this, I feel really motivated to like just go out and make stuff. So like that was when like I asked my dad like, hey, can you help me get a video camera? I'm really interested in this.
That's cool.
And then he said like, okay, write a script, show it to one of your teachers at school, have them say this is good, and then I'll support you. And so then I was
You were in high school at this time?
yeah, I would say like freshman year is
Okay.
when we started making movies with me and my best friend Nick.
That's insane.
And to just go back to your original question, like there's no lights. We cast all our friends. We just call them by their names because we don't want to make up fake names for them. And so I feel like even though that some of that stuff was scripted, like I've always been drawn to like this kind of like blurring the line between reality and fiction and making stories. So by the time I get to USC, I kind of have this chip on my shoulder. Everyone's like, I love Steven Spielberg movies. I'm making a heist movie. And I sound like such a shit, but I'm like, fuck you. That shit is fake. Like, I just want my friends. And then like in film school, I was like, oh, I just went through this breakup. Like, yes, I'm going to talk all about it in this film. And like, I had this like breakup phone call. So I'm just like, write that phone call down and like have actors say the lines and like, but it's like fucking real. And so I guess I've always been drawn to like that reality aspect of filmmaking. Like, well, it's not light because it looks fake when you light it. Obviously, you can light well. You can do that. But that's how I felt back then. So after school, I think I just naturally gravitated towards like indie jobs, and like a lot of people hired me for doc cinematography and doc projects. And so I kind of just it's naturally been a part of my life. I've done both. I've done narrative. I've done doc. I've done other stuff. And so, yeah. It kind of just happened now. I didn't think like my first thing's gonna be a documentary. It was just like I happened to be right place, right time, right story, right skill set. It happened.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw David Bolin follows you, which is pretty cool. He's a cinematographer for what's it called?
Like a lot of
some kind
cool
of heaven
stuff.
and a lot of Vimeo
Dude,
stuff.
some kind of heaven.
Yeah, amazing.
So good. Yeah.
I'm part of like a doc group, and they had the director of that film come on
Yeah.
and talk about it, and I was like, yo,
It's Lance.
yeah,
Lance
exactly.
Oppenheim.
Yeah, it's so sick.
Yeah. Seriously.
How often do you fan out? I remember I saw. Dude, I think, I don't know if you posted it or it was like in your tag photos, but you were with Shang-Chi. Didn't he come to your premiere?
Yeah,
Simon-
he moderated our Q&A for our
That's
like
amazing.
our opening weekend for
Yeah.
Accepted.
Whoa.
Did you meet him like prior to that, or like you guys just brought him on and like that was your first time?
So he's like best friends with Jason.
Mm-hmm. Jason was
who's
the producer,
who's
right?
one of my friends, who's a
Okay.
producer on
Yeah.
Accepted, who's the CEO of Jubilee.
Okay.
And so I remember like a year before the Marvel news, he just brought Simu over. He's like, hey, it's my friend. He's an actor. He's on Kim's Convenience. Like, get to know him. Like, so he visited the Jubilee office, and like we all kind of talked to him for a little bit, just about what he's about, what we're about. And then I remember a year after that, we had like a Jubilee company retreat. So we all went to Mexico for like a weekend.
Whoa, that's so fun.
On the way back, like I'm in a car with Jason and this young guy Cole, and maybe there was a third guy there, I don't remember. But then Jason was like, hey, like, would you guys mind stopping by in San Diego on the way home? Like, Comic-Con's going on. My friend Simu is like about to be announced that he's going to be Shang-Chi. And we were like, yeah, all right. Yeah, well, why not? Let's take a detour. So literally, I remember
Cool.
we go to like a hotel and we go into Simu's hotel room. It's literally like the next hour he was going to walk out on stage and they were going to be like, and the next superhero we got is Simu Liu. And so he's like in the hotel room, and like Jason's like, dude, you ready, man? Like your life's about to change. And I was like, this is very surreal. Like,
That's
being in the
crazy.
room with this guy, and like he's in this room as one life, and he's gonna walk out on stage, and just by being announced as a certain thing, his life is about to totally change, you know? So very surreal moment that I got to, you know, be a peripheral a part of. So that was
That's
really
so
cool.
Was he like
cool.
humble about it?
Oh yeah. He's a really humble, hardworking guy. Like every time I talk to him, he's like, I know this isn't very common that like someone like me will get this level of opportunity. So like I'm just gonna try to like push as much as I can go and try to make as much room as I can for
Throw the
other
rope down,
people.
like, yeah.
So I'm like, oh hell yeah,
That's so nice.
fucking awesome. Yeah.
Do you know if he has that insatiable hunger?
I mean, probably. I'm also reading his book right now. I haven't finished it. I'm sure like it's gonna get into it and stuff. But
Dang.
yeah, I'm kind of curious too, like what his mentality is. But I'm kind of like, on some level, you can't just stumble into that.
Yeah.
Like, I think everyone always says like, oh, it's hard work and luck, right? And it's like, it's not just luck. Like you can't just like fall backwards into Shang-Chi. Like you had to have been working hard for like 20 years. And you happen to be right place, right time, right people, right circumstance, right timing of society and everything. It's like, it must be both, you know?
Yeah.
Well,
Absolutely.
yeah. What do you think you have like? What moment in your life will you be like, I've made it, or do you think you'll never get that? Well, I know that's a cool way, but like, do you not have something that's tangible that you could define as I've made it? Because I remember I saw your Instagram. There's a blue check mark. I'm like, Hollywood.
He made it.
Yeah, I'm like, this fucking.
He made it. It was funny. I got that, and I was just like, I hope this helps me like raise money to make movies.
Yeah,
like I don't,
that's sick.
because I don't think of it as like I don't personally derive like social validation from it. I'm just kind of like, hopefully this is a tool that allows me to appear legitimate for people to take me seriously as a filmmaker, so that I can make movies. I'm just like, the more time I can just spend making movies, and to make movies, you have to be like taken seriously by certain kinds of people, and they have to gift you or invest in you, right? Resources and money and time. And so that's like my goal, is just like make as many projects as I find meaningful with the people I care about. And like, maybe if I feel like I'll have made it at some point, it's either like maybe one of two things. One is like, they're gonna let me do an Irishman someday, where it's like, would you like $200 million to just hang out with your friends and tell a 4-hour movie? I'm like, if I ever get to that point, then I'll know I've made it.
Yeah.
You know? Or like a Roma, where it's like, talk to us about your childhood, you know, house person that helped you, and you know what I mean, like, here's $200 million to do that. It's either that, or it's like, I was really, always had this fantasy of like, one day, like when kids in film school like talk about like their influences, like what if you're in that conversation? That'll be like, because that's more than like, oh, you made a lot of money at the box office, or like you were cool for like a time. It's like, no, if you actually contributed to like this art form, like that would be really cool. You know? Yeah.
And I feel like even just with that one doc alone, it's like you're already like on the road for that too. So
no,
I commend you for that.
Yeah.
But like, do you like, outside of filmmaking, do you have anything like, obviously like you said are you married or you're engaged right now?
I'm married.
Married, okay.
Just
So
like
like,
man.
do
I
you
try
see
to ring
yourself like in the future, like do you see yourself like ever like walking away from filmmaking, like to start your own family?
So me and my wife, we met on the job.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
Okay.
she's an editor.
Yeah.
She's worked on some pretty big stuff at this point. And we met on a passion project. And I feel like a big part of that initial spark was like, we saw each other and we were like, oh shit, you really take this seriously also. And so like half the time we're at home and like, she'll be like, all right, I got like these 3 job offers, or I can like try to meet people to do this kind of new kind of thing. And I'm like, all right, let's like strategize. And then vice versa. I'll be like, okay, like what should I do next? Like I'm thinking about this, this, and this. And she's like, well, consider this. Maybe you should talk to this person. So we're always like strategizing. So I'm like, I think our thing is like, we're going to have a family, we're going to live a good life, and we're always going to be like, in this
That's amazing.
mindset,
That's really
you know?
cool,
Yeah.
It's like literally lined up perfectly. I just saw a podcast and it was talking about his name's. It's with Chris
D'Elia?
No,
DiStefano.
yeah, and then what's the other dude's name? Bert
Kreischer.
Yeah, so literally like they're literally both crying. They're talking about like
I saw
how
that.
you saw that, and like they're just going off about how like this dude literally like Chris Stefano. Is that how you say his name?
DiStefano.
Like he's literally saying he's seeing his daughter grow up like through FaceTime, and it's kind of like, oh, but obviously he's got all these opportunities, he's got this whole career, and it's kind of like it's a weird thing to balance. And like it hit me this week. I was like, damn. I feel like I'm worried to get to that point of like I don't know like how to juggle that lifestyle, and it's like it's literally terrifying. But that's kind of beautiful. That's like. It's almost like, not that you don't have to worry about that, but it's like you have somebody that's on the same level as you that's like can handle that kind of like that intensity and like in the career and shit. So like that's really cool. Like,
right. Or if like, you know, if she were to get a job that takes her to New York for 7 months, I'd be like, yo, like let's move there for 7 months. Let's figure it out. You know what I mean? Or vice versa.
Yeah,
like
it's amazing.
I feel like our goal would be to like make the two things work in tandem and not like, because that seems like it would be so intense to be like, what I love to do is completely separate from spending time with my family. I'm like, that seems so stressful.
Yeah,
there's got to be a way to do like
both.
To try to weave them as much as you can. You'll never do it perfectly, but you can at least, you know, have fun in trying, you know?
That's amazing.
I always try to see like families and try to model. Like I remember whenever I see a famous person, I search them up just to see how their marriage is, because it's always like, oh, 3 divorces. Scarlett Johansson is not have a good you know what I mean? Like, so like, I feel like Childish Gambino, he seems like he has like a chill family life because he's not on social media. He has like a house in like Malibu and no one knows anything about his family, so they're just like in it together. Or he's an abusive father. Like, we don't know. We have no idea.
We'll find out in 10 years.
Yeah, I'll meet him and be like, hey, is small Gambino good? Do you plan to have kids?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Is there like an age, or is it kind of like whenever it happens?
We're thinking like soon-ish.
Oh, it's cool.
Yeah, but like, we at least want to like have some time, just like being like young married people, you know, without the kid.
Yeah,
that'd be fun.
That's cool. Are you guys like? Did you guys honeymoon already?
We did like a mini moon.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's like a mini honeymoon. Because we want to do a bigger trip, but we're not sure like where we can go internationally yet. But yeah.
Oh, cool. What did you guys do?
We went to Sedona for a week.
Is that Arizona?
Yeah.
Arizona.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. When did you meet her? And like how long were you guys together before you got married?
I'm gonna find me an editing girlfriend because of you.
I mean, yeah, it's been nice. It's been nice. We met in 2017. I mean, like we knew of each other before then, but then we really started hanging out in 2017.
Yeah.
I did a short film called Ella, which like took place in my hometown, very like personal project.
Yeah.
She was peeping the Kickstarter campaign as I was posting about it.
Wow.
And the way she tells it, she's like, oh, this seems cool. I'm looking for more work and like this kind of like narrative kind of stuff. And so she hit me up, was like, hey, do you have an editor? I am professional. I do these and these things. And I was like, I was going to edit it myself, but
leave me alone.
But and then in my head I was like, but she seems cool, and also I should learn how to work with an editor because it's kind of embarrassing that I don't feel like I am able to. And so we met, we got like a drink, and then I was kind of like, okay, yeah, I think this would be really, really fun to work with her. And then we did.
Was there like a moment when you're like, I'm in love? Like, did she do like a cool J cut, and you're like, God damn, you're
J cut. Oh, that edit.
Do you just slide transition in? God damn.
No, it was funny. It was kind of like a school time crush on like both of our ends. I think she was like, I was going crazy, and I was like, no, I was trying to keep it chill. I was also trying to keep it professional. I was like, I think I'm feeling something, but I want to wait until we're done with this editing process. And I think for her, in her mind, she's like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy?
He's not into me.
There's clearly something going on, but he's not doing anything. And so
look at all these J cuts I've added.
No, I mean, it was a really personal project. And then once we started talking about like, you know, our worries and our friends and shit outside of the film, and we were just like kept on talking, it came so easily. And then I started inviting her out to just like watch movies for research, which for me was like, it was that, but also like, who knows? What if we get along also outside of work? And then, and then things happen, you know, as they do.
You're a pimp, dude. That's how you do it. Do you ever, because I feel like Hollywood's pretty small. I don't even know Hollywood. I feel like it's weird. It's just like that industry's pretty small. Did you ever have like beef with someone in like USC and then it transferred over to like 10 years later? You're on set and you're like, oh fuck, this EP hates me because I egged his dorm.
If there's beef, I don't know it, but maybe someone has beef towards me. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I don't really have beef towards anyone. I don't
That's cool.
think. No.
You have a platform right now. You want to call shots at someone right now? You wanna,
Shots.
Like you want to be like, hey, fuck this guy. I don't like your film. You want to do that right now? We have IG
Don't be
reels already.
shy.
Well, okay, so I actually don't remember the exact name of this company, so that's why I don't want to like say something in case I get the wrong company. But there was a company that while we were unaccepted, we had been spending like months filming at Mike Landry, the school, and then we were pitching the project around town because we needed like a partner to come on and help finance and like take the project home. And one of the companies we met with literally like took our pitch trailer and passed it off as their own pitch trailer,
What?
raised money on their own, and then flew Mike Landry out to LA and said, we will give you 6 figures for your life rights and we'll buy the life rights from you right now. And Mike Landry said yes. And so I would say another reason why we lost contact with him while we were filming was because this other company literally bought his life rights and made it like illegal for us to base a project around him. And in
my
the end,
gosh.
you'll notice that we did not base the project around him. It was based around the students who went to his school.
Yeah.
But fuck those people.
Yeah, it's
Dang, that's crazy.
You guys aren't, if you guys are listening to
Yeah.
this, whatever, like you guys aren't filmmakers.
Yeah.
Like you're just fucking
Okay, just
terrible people.
just
They
fucking
can't make
money hungry,
anything. Yeah,
money hungry
exactly.
people, like,
And it was funny because while we were,
Oh, is it yours?
that's
it one of
actually
ours?
what they turned it off.
Oh,
Yeah.
there you go.
oh word, while we were making it, there came a time like later in the school year where we were kind of like, we're interested in if Mike wants to talk to us, like let's offer him an interview. And then it was after like the controversial article came out. We were like, what is your response to this? And then we actually called this other company to be like, hey, is there any way that like we could interview him and maybe like there's a carve out of your rights? Like,
Yeah,
we
okay,
could-
so
yeah.
can you just explain like life rights like real quick? Like what exactly does that like entail?
You're like
To
full
what
control
I
of him.
know,
Yeah.
to like if I were to buy your life rights, that means if any project about you were to happen, it would have to happen through me.
Okay.
Because I've purchased the life rights.
Okay.
Whoa.
Now there's a loophole. What if they make a movie about you, or about your vision, your perspective of him? Then it's like, oh, okay, maybe there's like a loophole through
Yeah.
it. But
Oh, whoa.
yeah, it's like that. So that's our understanding was we kind of had to ask permission to see if we could film with him again.
Yeah.
And this company was like, no, actually, like, we're making our own, like, documentary about the school now. And, like, you know, we got some interviews. And we were talking to the students being like, yo, they filmed at your school, right? And they're like, yeah, but, like, they were all kind of assholes. Fuck these people.
They're
you know?
filming in vertical landscape.
Yeah, exactly. No, and then I think, okay, then the funny Easter egg of this whole story is that there's a scene in the film the second time we go to the graduation because we're just curious, like, how are the other kids at the school doing? And then Mike's like, you guys got to leave, like, we don't want you here, right? But on the screen, on the projection screen in the graduation ceremony, I'm 99.9% sure they're playing that other company's sizzle reel for the school.
Whoa.
And they just gave it to Mike, so then Mike used it for like his graduation pump up video or something.
That's insane.
Yeah.
And then so there's the scene where like all the shit goes down and they have that private meeting at the school.
Yeah.
How was that just like a random parent that like gave you that audio file of like him like talking?
It was a parent we knew.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you tell them to go in recording or like they just had it?
They just had it.
That's
Whoa.
crazy.
I think because they were worried about their own kid's future.
Yeah.
And so I wouldn't be surprised if they weren't the only
Yeah.
parent filming or recording because it's
Yeah.
like, hey, like, shit's going down.
Yeah,
Like, it affects
100%.
your kid's future. So,
Yeah.
like, yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So I'm like, it's a testament, I think, to like, if anything, the relationships we built, hopefully
Yeah.
the trust we foster. It's like, hey, we
It was
want to tell
genuine,
the story
yeah.
responsibly and show all sides of it. So, yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Dang, that's real though. Like
Yeah.
they'll go undercover for you.
For real.
We gotta find someone like
Not
that.
for us, though. I think they just had it. And then
Yeah,
we,
but
like,
the fact that they were willing to
No,
share it with you
and then we
too,
caught
like,
up with them and they were like, oh yeah, I went to this meeting and I like happened to have the recording.
Yeah.
And so it was like, oh, would you be comfortable sharing that?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
When you're editing, how often do you have like your what? Because like it's obviously like an hour and a half. How often did you rewatch and you were like, I hate this since you've just like been around it for so long? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Because I feel like that, like for jokes, I'm saying the same joke over and over.
Right.
No one
Not
enjoys
funny
this. Yeah, this
anymore.
isn't funny anymore. I'm not having fun. Like, was it to that extent for accepting? 'Cause it's like an hour and 30. That just feels so long to be in the editing room.
Yeah.
We're like, how did you
Man.
try to get like a objective view? How did you try to objectively view it, or did you have other voices?
I'd say for a long time it was kind of like, ooh, like this isn't working. Because you're just trying to like juggle all the threads together.
Yeah.
And put something together, and then you start throwing it in front of an audience, and then you're like, oh, cool, like they're actually feeling it. So okay, so we're on the right path, even if I feel like it's still jumbled, like we're getting to the right place. But I remember, like, I don't know, like 90 minutes is a long time, as you're saying. I remember I probably felt uneasy about how things were going for like 90% of the whole thing. And look,
Wow.
I'll also, I don't blame anyone else for that feeling. I'm like, a lot of it came to be like, I'm a first time filmmaker. This is my first feature. I'm feeling so much anxiety over like, how is this coming across?
Yeah.
It really wasn't until like those final few tweaks and weeks that I was like, oh, I'm starting to see what we've made. It's
Yeah.
starting to
that's cool.
make a little more sense to me. But until then, I just feel like it was just like, just trying my best to like, just like see if I could help here, see if I could help here, see if I could help clarify this. And then by the end, the accumulation of all those actions then like resulted, and like the hard work of the people who worked on it as well, like it all adds up in the end. But like, it wasn't this illusion I've had where it's like, you're a genius filmmaker and you come on and you're just like, let's do this, this, and this. And they do it and you're like, that's right, I'm fucking awesome. And you leave. It was like, we have a problem. Like, people aren't understanding this part of the story.
Yeah.
How do we fix the problem? They still don't get it. How do we fix the problem? And then in all, like, you just keep doing that until you run out of time. And like, that's the movie.
Yeah, dang.
Yeah.
How many test screenings did you do?
Probably like a dozen.
Dang. Was it
Yeah.
everyone from Jubilee you were showing, or was it just like random?
Sometimes it'd be Jubilee. A lot of times we'd try to invite like non-film people, non-industry people. Like, hey, what do you think? Did you get it? How do you feel about this person? How do you feel about this character?
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
And how was the high? Like after like it was completed, and then like you kind of, because you went to Tribeca, right?
Yeah.
It's
yeah,
like
yeah.
how was that? Like how was that like coming to fruition and everything with everything?
It was cool.
Yeah.
It was nuts. I felt a lot of like pressure of like, I hope this screening goes well. I
Yeah.
hope the students that we're flying out, I hope they have a good time. I hope
Yeah.
they don't think this movie's horrible or misrepresents their stories.
Yeah.
And then just like, I don't know, feeling that responsibility, I
Yeah.
guess, of like, this is my first time doing this. I hope I did a good job.
Yeah.
This is real people. I wonder if it'd feel different if I just like made up a story and like
Yeah.
that was my first movie, but it wasn't. It was
Yeah.
this story. I met real people. I hope I did their story justice.
Yeah.
And so this whole project was kind of just like holding on to this like runaway train and just hoping like I'm doing a good job, like, I don't know, helping the train get to where it's
Yeah.
going. Yeah.
That's amazing. So like at least like now looking back, like do you feel fulfilled with it? Or
Yeah.
do you still, okay. that's
100%.
amazing.
100%.
Did you feel like instantly when you like exported the final draft, or was it like an overtime
No,
thing?
over
Okay.
time, like processing it,
Yeah.
watching it at Tribeca, watching it again at another festival, watching it 11 times at different screenings, watching it come out into the world, watching the Q&A where Seema was there and he was asking one of the students, 80, how they felt about like all the process of watching it so many times and seeing it go out into the world and seeing people write about it and write reviews and say, this is a theme that I noticed. And I'm like, I didn't even notice that theme while I was making it. And so
Yeah.
all of that helping me process
Yeah.
the film.
That's amazing.
That's
Yeah.
was there one instant moment where you were like, I made a great film, or was it like it was like just like little points you're like, all right, I'm feeling it now? Was there
It's
something?
like, it's more like
stands out?
that. It's
Oh,
more
okay.
like that. It was like, ooh, like we got that moment working. Like that moment works most times I watch the movie now. Like that feels good. Or like, oh, most times we watch this part of the ending, like I could see people in the audience getting emotional. Oh, okay, I feel like that's working now. Yeah.
That's cool.
Is there a point in like at any of the movie where you kind of cringe, or you're kind of like, ooh, I kind of wish we did that a little bit better?
Yeah.
Dang. You're like all of it. Like
I could have filmed that better.
Yeah.
I was sleep deprived at the time.
like
Okay,
that.
you know, like that
Yeah.
kind of stuff. But
Dang,
I don't
that's
know.
real.
But like I feel like you're always gonna feel that because
Yeah,
you're
it's
gonna
just
see the
human, yeah.
flaws. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But maybe other people won't, or they'll
Yeah.
think it's charming.
Yeah, absolutely.
Who knows? Yeah.
Which scene was the hardest to edit?
I don't think it was about a scene for our movie. I think it was more about like how do you structure a year's worth of time into a coherent 90-minute narrative,
Yeah.
you know? And how do you like create an ebb and flow and like a structure to it? I think we struggle a lot with like when do we how do we reveal the twist?
Yeah.
And it ended up being like us just shaving away the things that didn't work until it appeared.
Yeah.
It wasn't like we were like, we're going to do this and then we're going to cut to this. It was literally just like, lose that because it doesn't make any sense. Lose that because it's kind of gumming things up. And then what we ended up with was like, oh, that kind of works. We didn't expect that to work, but like, all right, cool. It's working now. Like, don't touch it, you know?
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Was there ever, when you were at the school, was there ever bullying? Since it was, even though it was so small, was there ever like a kid like, hey, what's up, nerd? Even though they're all like,
So like another kid.
was there ever like bullying, like a regular high school? Someone gets pushed against a locker?
I think so. I don't
Really?
think we
Whoa.
saw it though.
Oh,
I
okay.
don't think we saw it.
Dang.
Yeah.
There'll be a part 2 in there. You've seen accepted. Here's denied.
Here's the Justin Long movie.
I was literally talking to them about
Yeah.
that. They haven't seen it. I was like, no way. Like, it's insane.
Should we put it on right now?
I think we should. We'll just watch it for the next hour and a half.
That's
Like,
good. It's a good one. I liked
Yeah,
watching
I
it
love
in
that
college.
movie.
Yeah.
I'm in.
Usually we ask our listeners to, well, this week we did something different. You said, tell us about a time that you effed up.
okay.
So, but yeah, we have a segment. We do this to our listeners or on Instagram. So if you have a question, whenever we do it, I don't know, when do you do it? Like the day prior, 2 days prior?
2 hours ago.
2 hours ago. All right. And yeah, you can send it to us and we'll read it on the podcast. But this person said, so I'll just put the prompt as, tell us about a time that you effed up. This person said, this is all anonymous, by the way. I'm the reason my Catholic middle school started sex ed.
Wait, what?
How was it like, priest? I don't know how. And they're like, oh, we'll teach you. Was it like that? Imagine just being so, and where they're like, I'm gonna drop a class on this for you, buddy.
It was so wild. Damn.
Did you grow up Catholic or anything?
No.
You wanna?
It's too late now.
I don't know. I've seen some newborn Catholic. Dude, I remember once I grew up Catholic and I had to go to like church class, and there was this one time where they bought us all cheeseburgers from McDonald's, and then like I got my cheeseburger and I took a bite, and they're like, everyone like looked at me, they're like, you're supposed to pray before you eat. I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. I spat it back out on the plate and I'm like, let's pray. And I was like I was like, this kid's going to hell, dude. That was my last day at CCD.
That was a good moment. That's a good scene.
Yeah.
That's a good scene in a movie.
I was like 9.
Should have ruined it.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's Mary Kate.
That's Mary Kate. That's Mary Kate. That's Mary Kate. That's Mary Kate. That's Mary Kate.
I can do much, but
So now,
now, Dan Chen,
Yes.
it's your time to come clean about something.
Okay.
Is there anything that will not incriminate yourself that you want to get off your chest? It doesn't have to be a horrible story too. It could just be something like, oh, like
I peed on
I
myself.
used to, yeah, I peed
I
myself.
wet the
or,
bed.
like-
I still wet the bed.
Or a
Me and my
guilty-
wife wet the bed.
Guilty pleasure or something, you know?
Or I
like-
punched someone in the throat once. I started a sex ed class.
Huh.
I'm starting an intramural sex ed class. Hey, come through. I'll teach you. But yeah, do you have anything?
Is 2016, and I was filming a documentary in North Carolina. So the documentary was we were following different people around the country in the lead up to the election. And we were just following ordinary people, you know, gun store owners, liberal protesters, Planned Parenthood activists, illegal immigrants, biker dudes. And I was on my way to film the gun store couple. And I was driving on this country road. And then I saw a dog chasing a squirrel in a split second. And then I heard a big thump. And so I pulled my cart off to the side of the road. And I walked back 40 feet. And there was a dead dog. And then I looked around. I'm like, oh shit, I'm in like the country.
Yeah.
And I saw this like nearby house, like near the woods. And so I walked up to the house. I'm like, maybe it's their pet. And if it's their pet, I should tell them. And I knocked on the door and I said, hello, is anyone there? And I knocked on the door some more. No one answered. And I just like stood there for like 10 minutes in this like country house. And then the gun store couple was waiting for me. And then after a while, I just got in the car and drove away.
How did you feel? Did it like ruin you?
Did you bring the dog with you?
I felt sad. I also felt like, well, shit, like, this is a country road. Like,
Yeah.
people are regularly coming down this road at 40 miles per hour.
Yeah.
Your dog's not on a leash. Like,
Yeah,
I don't know. It was like
fun.
chasing a squirrel.
Yeah,
All of a
yeah.
sudden, it happened like that. And I guess I just felt like it was unfortunate and it was sad. And I felt like it was some kind of omen,
Yeah.
you know? An ill omen.
Do you think about it often?
It's just that when you said, do you want to come clean about something? Like, I don't think I've said that to anyone except for like my wife. So
Whoa.
now you know. And now whoever watches this will know.
Yeah.
And if you own a dog in North Carolina, I'm sorry. It
Shout out
was an
Dog
accident. Yeah. So, yeah.
Dang. What kind of dog was it?
It had shorter ears. So it wasn't like the big floppy ears. It had shorter ears.
After you hit him?
Oh no.
You couldn't tell what kind of dog.
I
it was.
remember the look on the dog's face. It was like caught, it was like frozen like this.
Dang.
Yeah. And it was further back in the road than I thought it would be, but I guess that's how cars move. It's like
Yeah.
if you're moving 45 miles per hour, it's like you don't know how fast you're going, you know?
You didn't did it fuck up your car or anything? You didn't have like any blood?
Whoa.
There was nothing on the car.
What the?
Nothing happened to the car.
I mean, maybe you didn't hit the dog then.
Yeah, I don't think
Maybe
the gun
not.
store owner
Yeah.
shot
I mean,
it.
it happened the way I described.
Yeah.
It's like I'm driving. For a split second, I see this. I hear a noise.
Yeah.
I walk back on the road. I see a dead dog. That's all I know that happened.
It's insane.
Yeah.
But you're still here today
I'm
tell-
still here.
to
You
tell your
made it.
story.
I don't think I was ever in danger.
You're a survivor.
You survived through that, right?
I don't consider that to be a close wildlife call at all, but yeah.
When it's all said and done, at least I'm safe.
So, yeah.
Dan 1, dog 0. Oh man, you ever think of like buying a similar dog just to like make that
Just to
karma,
make up
like,
for it?
Yeah,
just to
yeah,
make up for
karma. Yeah. We're actually looking for a dog, so.
it? Really?
Yeah.
You should try to find one like similar to that,
Yeah.
and then so one day a guy named Dan could run it over.
Oh my, and that's how the karmic cycle
Yeah.
continues. Oh my gosh.
No one
I
gets a living
deserve
dog.
this.
Yeah.
What'll happen is like, yeah, I'll be away on like a vacation or
Yeah.
something, and then I'll come back and I'll be like,
You can't be mad.
Because the other
No.
guy's safe now.
circle of life. Yeah, exactly. Well, you know what I'd do is I'd secure my dog in a safe place so that it
No,
doesn't
100%, yeah.
run out into
Yeah.
the street.
But the karma's gonna be somebody's gonna jump into your backyard and murder your dog. So
And we might
Yo.
be that.
Yikes. Okay, not telling you where I
Sorry.
live. Not telling you where I live.
Dan Chen, I'm sorry.
I had to.
You told us to.
but alrighty.
All right.
We appreciate you. This was a great episode.
This was
Yeah,
fun.
Great conversation.
Thank you for having me. Yeah.
Do you want to plug anything? You can plug your Instagram, anything you got going on, anywhere we could check you out.
Patreon.
Yeah, I mean,
Jubilee.
Instagram is at the D Chen. I direct stuff from Jubilee. Sometimes the series called Mask Off, and the documentary we just talked about, Accepted, is coming out on PBS on October 10th.
Okay.
Whoa.
Yeah,
I watched
yeah.
Caillou on there growing
There
up.
you go.
And now I'm going to be watching you. That's
Exactly.
crazy.
Yeah, yeah,
It's like Asian Caillou, but haired
yeah,
and made a movie.
yeah. And he's not on screen.
And he's not on
He's
screen.
just behind the camera.
And like his voice shows up 3 times.
Yeah, exactly.
And there's like a guy.
All right, thank you, Dan Chen.
Nailed it.
Dan Chen, everyone.
Why do you want my dick all up inside your lips? Wanna just grab this